You are listening to the Conquering Everest podcast. This is episode 16. Welcome to the Conquering Everest podcast. My name is Brian Talor, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for choosing to spend a bit of your day here with me. Now, if you'd like to connect, if you'd like to interact, there's a couple ways you can do it. Real simple. You could always drop me an email. It's brian at conqueringeverest.com. You could download the Podbean app, look up Conquering Everest, and leave a comment on whatever episode you'd like to. Or you could always find me over on YouTube or Facebook. So just search Conquering Everest. It should take you right there. I'd love to interact and engage and find out what's going on in your mind. What kind of topics would you like to hear? So don't be shy. Reach out. Now, today's episode is one you're not going to want to miss. This past weekend, I had the privilege of speaking with Hilde Olsen. She is a NLP and Medi-yoga instructor. She resides in Norway. So thank God for the power of the internet that I could connect with her all the way. I'm here in the US in Illinois. But Hilda has a lot of good insights and thoughts into how to heal the body holistically. Now, she's been through a lot. She's been hit by a train. She's been in a car wreck. I don't want to give it all away. You're going to have to listen to the interview. And believe me, it's not one you're going to want to miss. So let's get right to it. Here's my conversation with Hilde Olsen. Hilde Olsen, welcome to the Conquering Everest podcast. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Brian. Oh, I'm so humble that you invited me to come. My name is Hilde Olsen and I'm from Norway. I'm 51 years old and I'm married and I have two boys, like they are 14 and 19 years old. And we met in this amazing group, Brian, didn't
Yes,
we?
yep. The Tony Robbins event, and the group lives on even after the event has shut down. And there's a lot of interesting folks and stories out there. And I saw yours, and you had talked about meta yoga, and that's what intrigued me, and wanted to talk to you and get some more information on that from you. But before we get into that, I know we've had a little bit of a conversation, and you've had quite a life filled with experiences, not always good experiences. Could you just take us back and like what got you into looking into meta yoga, then you also mentioned NLP. What was kind of the what led you into that?
Yes. Okay, Brian, I will try the best I can. And the life we are sometimes just hit by the big waves and the small waves. And I used to actually tell myself I was lucky, but I was quite unlucky with life quite a few times. And I was 24 years old when I will say, my first unluck happened. I was driving to my school. I was in the university studying to be a teacher. And I was going to the school in the morning, and it was a very low sun, and it was nearly snowing. And I was going to cross a train station, or what you call,
Hmm.
yeah. And I was just on the second I could have not been hit by the train, but I
Uh,
was. Yes.
but you're still here to talk about. I mean, I can't imagine what that what that moment in time. As I learned about it, I've sat here and tried to imagine what that would feel like, and I can't even fathom what that must have felt like in that moment.
Well, now I'm
Mm,
51 and I was 24, so we're talking many years
right.
ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. It was, I was, I was sure I was
Mm,
dying. I was 100% sure because the train in the front of the train got stuck in my
Hmm.
car. So I was transported like 20 meters in my car, and the train was on his on the
Hmm.
rails. So I was in my car and I saw this gigantic machine in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to survive this one, not at all.
Right. What was the healing process like? I imagine, you did you spend a lengthy time in the hospital or?
No, so here is the strange story. So what happened, that it was I crawled out of my car and I didn't have any
Hmm.
wounds. The only thing that happened, it was I was cut in my face, so I was bleeding a lot from my face. But for in my thoughts, I was like, how are my
Yeah.
teeth? I was like, oh my god, because it was so hard on the body. So I walked out, and this is so many years ago, and you can't believe what happened. The ambulance didn't come.
Really?
Nope.
Wow.
There was one fire,
Like fire truck or? Yeah.
yes, and it was
Okay.
police. So what happened? Well, they couldn't actually believe that the person inside the car survived. And then they saw this little girl come. I'm quite small, and they saw this little girl crawling out of the car. They couldn't believe
Wow.
it. And well, I was not taken care of. I was transported right to the police
Oh,
station.
wow.
So I was in this police station. I have never done anything wrong in my life. And I was told that this was very, very dangerous what I have done. And I would probably have to go to law.
Huh. Sounds,
And I was like,
yeah,
what?
that seems a little backwards.
And I was just, I could, well, this is the story. So I was then sent home. I didn't have a car, of course, it was totally broken. So I can't remember actually how I got back to my home. I don't know. I can't remember. But my father, he came and he said, we have to go to the hospital because this is very serious what happened to you. And from then, my life changed.
Uh,
My health got worse and worse. And at the same time, my father, my beloved father, he got
mm,
Alzheimer's at the same time, the same year, and everything. So everything I had to focus on was my father. I could not take care of myself actually because I was like, he was young. He was just 53 years old.
wow.
So I was like, I'm going to save
Hmm.
him. I'm going to save him. So I didn't listen to my problems, my health or my body.
When did that come back? Because I imagine there was a time or a period when it
Yeah.
it came back and probably hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yes. Brian, you are so clever. Of course it did. When we do not
Mm,
listen inwards and listen to what our mind and body says, it gonna hit
mhm,
you. You're gonna get it back. And yes, it did. In so it was about let me see, 5 years, 6 years later. I was just having a shower and I fall down
mhm.
and I thought I was gonna die. And it was not anxiety. It was the house and everything was spinning around
Wow.
like in 1,000
Huh.
degrees. And I couldn't move. I couldn't stand up, and I could nothing. I couldn't do nothing. And then I was got to the hospital, and they found out I had this virus on the balance nerve. I don't know in English, but this is a diagnosis in Norway. And when you get this, you cannot walk, you can not do nothing.
Mm. Like a vertigo, I think we might call it maybe vertigo
Yes,
here, what we call it here in the US.
yes. And it was hard struck vertigo.
Yeah.
So for 3 years from then, I had to learn how to walk again, and I had to learn a lot of things, almost like starting over, like when
Wow.
you're starting to walk. Yeah. So it took me 3 years. I was hanging on from in my physiotherapy room. I had to hang on this. How do you call it? And you do the neck and the
Oh
balance and
yeah. Um maybe,
oh
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's I'm losing what it's called too, but kind of like
yeah.
probably had you in a harness and like balance beams and things like that to
Yes, core, some core
mm,
training. And this was my job for 3 years. So what it was very hard. So I tried to live again, and I tried to just, oh, I didn't listen. I still didn't listen,
wow.
Brian. I was like, oh, come on, the world wants something from me. The expectation, come on, Hilda, you have to work harder. You have to have a career. You have to be strong. All these expectation that we all think are important.
Yeah.
So I didn't listen. And then I got paralyzed all on my left body. So I had no chance walking, not forever, not so ever. And then in 2013, then the big wave, the huge wave
Hmm.
came, and it was a heart attack.
Hmm.
And then I was 43 years old. So I was young.
Yeah, that is really young for a heart attack.
And I'm a petite little woman. So I was not overweight. I was like, and they could not understand what could, how could this happen to this woman? And the doctors and everything, they were, I was, I was so unlucky, but I saved my life again.
Hmm.
So I was in the ambulance on the operation table, and they saved my life.
So this and so you were 24, did you say, when you got hit by the train, or early 20s,
Yes.
and then your father, you had to take care of your father for a few years, and then you had about
Yeah. 40.
10 years, it sounds like, in your 30s that maybe you were trying to live up and get to those worldly expectations that everybody expects out of us, and then that it sounds like that.
With a sick body, with a
Yeah,
sick
yeah.
body.
So
I got tinnitus, and I got all these diagnoses. I have the TM, I have EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I have I had to operate my
oh wow.
jaw, and all this because of the
Did
accident.
you have so I would imagine, especially after something like the train, are you familiar with like PTSD, post traumatic stress?
Well, yes, I am now, but no one ever was in that direction with me. But
Yeah.
of course. But in this system, I was not taken
Yeah.
care of. So what happened after my heart attack? Oh my God! Now is the worst case ever. I was I thought in my mind I was quite clever because I have this high education and everything, and I could no take care of my mental
Hmm.
health. But really, I after the heart attack, the worst thing ever happened. I was diagnosed with panic attack, and literally life stops.
Yeah.
If you know about anxiety, if you know about panic anxiety, you know the life you. Oh my God, this was the hardest part in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and I know where as somebody who has suffered from them in the past, I totally understand where you're going or coming from with that. And I know there's a lot of people out there that they probably haven't been diagnosed? I know there's a lot of people that probably they just shut down and they don't understand what's going on.
I didn't. That's true, Brian. Because what happened was I didn't get the diagnosis right away. I was so sick.
Yeah.
So if I went in the shower, I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And I looked down in my at my legs, and they were all blue. No, it was not. They were not blue. But in my mind, everything was blue. And if I was so, the only thing I could do, I could get up. I had to get up in the morning with my husband and my children, and I had to turn the TV on. And I sat in front of the TV like 10, 14 hours every day. Because if I turned the TV off, I was going to die.
You needed
I was going
you
to
needed
die.
some sort of distraction to take you away from your thoughts, it sounds like. To
And I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it that like my brain, I have read about it, I have seen people, I felt for others who had this strong anxiety, and then I got it
Right.
myself. I, it was unbelievable for me. So it so I was, I'm going to tell you, I was in the how do you say in not the hospital, when you call the
Yeah, like
911. Yes.
emergency room or yeah.
Oh yes, I called it so many
Yeah.
times. I was breathing like, now it's got, oh no, it's starting again, it's starting again. Calling 911. Hello, this is Hilde. I need to come. And they were like, okay, you have to come. And I did go, and I was not having a heart
Right.
attack. I was having an anxiety attack. But I didn't know about it. I didn't know what it was. And it took 6 months before I got, and then I got a telephone call um, from a doctor. And he said, hello, is your name Hilde? And I said, yes, yes. I thought he was going to call me and said I had a heart attack. And I, and then I said, yes, yes, this is it. And he said, oh, I got some papers from your doctor, but I can't understand. It's just 3 lines. And it says something about you having a heart attack and feeling um, terrified. And I started crying. I was like, yes, this is me. I am terrifying now because you're calling me. And from then, I got help.
Okay.
So I I got a very excellent person. He was so um, smart, and he had a big
Yeah.
heart. So he had both. And at the same time, I started my higher degree in coaching, and I found a lot of solution in the theory, in the
Mhm.
reading, and I was feeling like I was healing myself by reading. And after these 2 years, uh, I found out that I heard about NLP, and that's neuro-linguistic programming, and that was transformational for me. Then I knew I could not live the life I had been living.
Right.
I knew it.
With
So I had,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, I had to really transform myself to be another one,
Yeah.
another person, a whole new one.
For for those that might be listening that are not familiar with NLP, do you have are you can you provide just like a high level of what that is or what that entails in a person's life?
Yes, it's about how your language affect you with your
Hmm.
emotion and your thoughts. And when you can recognize some feelings, then you can start to understand how you're going to think about when you can feel the same feeling. And when you feel it, you can start talking
Okay.
with this kind of feeling. Okay, I can feel anxiety. It's something happening. So you can recognize this. And then you learn how to um, transport yourself to think differently and speak differently. And then you will at some point you will understand that you are so much more than you think you
Mhm.
are. You are capable, you are strong, you are powerful. You will find the resources inside. And the NLP, we have to go back to the when we were children. But we're not like psychology, because then you really dig in the bad
Right.
areas. We go back to the younger us, and then we find um, the resources that really made you the the loving person, the happy one, the joyful Brian, the great
Mhm.
Brian, the powerful Brian from when he was like 2 years, 3 years. And then we build these stones on top of each other, and then we are at this moment living right now.
Right.
So how can I, with all this knowledge I know about from I was younger, how can I transport and transform this to be me in a higher level?
Yeah.
And so NLP, we should really learn it in kindergarten.
So it sounds like uh, when when you're a child, depending on the age, you're really kind of fearless, because I see that in youngsters all
Yes,
the time. They'll climb the trees, they'll jump off of uh, stairs, and they'll do all kinds of crazy things that in
yes,
our adult minds we're like, whoa, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. And then so that then the worldly, what I call worldly programming, starts to kick in. You start people tell you don't do that, you might get hurt, so then that instills fear.
yes,
And so really we kind of get programmed to whatever beliefs we have right now in our current time have been programmed into our mind, and they're not always healthy.
exactly.
Yeah. So NL.
And we are told you are not
Mhm.
good enough. We are told I don't believe in you. We are told that you, because you look like this, you cannot do like
Right.
this. And all these are the beliefs that we think we are. And I thought, because of my illness, because of my story with sickness, even though I was an educated teacher and everything, I believed I was
Yeah.
nothing. I believed that I was a mom. I had to be the mom because I had my children. But I was so much more.
Right.
But I all forgot about it. And when I changed this thinking, and I knew, oh my God, I'm possible. You are possible. And all when we all can do things greater together, we are going to be a better world.
Yeah.
And for me, NLP was extremely important. And when I did my master NLP, my mentor, she said, listen, Hilda, I think you need to learn how to breathe better. I was like, what do you mean? I'm breathing, I'm alive. I really survived a heart attack. So I was like, what are you talking about? She said, I think you need to go and try a course with Medi-yoga. It's Medi-yoga, it's medical
Hmm.
yoga. And I was not into meditation or this like, woohoo. This was not my kind of world. I was a practical, theoretical woman. And so I was like, oh no, oh, this is for this yoga.
Right.
Woohoo. I know people can
Oh
recognize what I'm
yeah, yeah.
talking
I've
about.
had conversations with people about meditation, and they kind of the same thing. Like, no, that's that
Not for
right.
me, but I I was struck with humble and love and my tears. I mean, immediately when I tried it, my tears just fell down. I was like, Hilda, you can let it
Mm,
go. Just let it go. Just be here now, because the past we cannot do anything about.
right,
The future we don't know anything about. So the only thing we know is just here.
right.
And here is all about the breathing.
S-
And if we go back to what you said, Brian, about being young and being a child, when they breathe with the whole body. They breathe with they breathe with the nose all in, and they pull the stomach out, and then they when they release the air, they press the stomach in. But what do we do? The adults,
Right,
people, you and me, Brian, and all the world, almost all
right.
the world. What do? We breathe with the mouth
Yeah.
open,
Hmm.
and we go. And when something is happening, or when we are excited or sad or happy, we are breathing the wrong way. So I had to learn how to breathe properly. And this is amazing. I, I hope one person is listening and thinking, oh my God, what's she talking about? I, I want to know about this breathing. Yes. So the breathing is this is how you can live a better life.
What does meta yoga entail? Is it we know it's the breathing, but is it also the movements, the repetition that people know of yoga? So kind of mind, body, and
Yes, it's true. It's You have your eyes
mhm,
closed in 1 hour, and that's for many. Oh, how am I going to do this with my eyes
right.
closed? Yes, you are, because you don't have to do anything. You're not going to perform anything. You're not going to be good at anything. You're not going to achieve anything. You're just going to breathe. You're just going to relax. You're just going to be calm, and you're just going to do the travel inside. You travel inside you into your heart. And when we can catch the heart, when we can really um, understand what is about my
Mm.
heart, we have 5 meters, the heart energy goes out. So 5 meters, Brian, is your energy by your heart.
Hmm.
So can you imagine when we are in a room,
Yeah.
what the heart can do when we are willing to give love,
Right.
and when we take the choice of giving love, because it's a
Hmm.
choice. We can choose fear or we can choose love. It's so simple. I mean, I really mean it. We have two options in life: choose fear or love. And with this breathing, you will, in about 3 minutes, you can get from anxiety level down to calm level. And some of the exercises, all these exercises have been in a lot of
Hmm.
studies, for in medical studies. So all the exercises are put together, so you get a massage on your inner organ, and your thoughts will pass. They will just go away like clouds. And when you do the breathing in this way, because we do all the breathing by the nose. So close your mouth and do now with me. 5 breathing with in with the nose and out with the nose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you
Yes.
definitely feel your shoulder. Like at least for me, I can always tell when something's kind of the relax when my body is finally ready to relax because my shoulders will release and drop, and because I carry all my stress up in my shoulders and jaw, and so I can when I can feel that, and it's true. I mean, because when we talked the other day, we had a quick conversation, and we kind of did the same thing with the nose, finger on the side of the nose, pushing in, breathing in from your left nostril, and it was kind of the same thing. Rather quickly, I went from feeling tight and tense in my shoulders and jaw to being very like at peace. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So it works quick.
And I'm going to give you just, I have to give because in my world, sharing is
Hmm.
caring,
Hmm.
okay? So when you breathe in with your nose, you pull your stomach out, not in,
Okay.
out.
Stomach out. So
In with the nose, out with the stomach, like a big
yeah,
balloon.
yeah.
And when you release, the stomach goes in. And this is telling the mind, just this exercise is telling the mind, don't worry. Why are you thinking about this? What are you doing? Why are you? Come on,
Right.
just this exercise. And we have tons of it.
N- Now I've heard in the past, I've heard people talk about toxins in the body, and we carry a lot of that in our breath, and because we don't breathe properly, we don't fully release the. And when I say toxins, I guess it's be more of like a gas or something that's within our body. Do you have any insight into like what does the breath contain? Does it contain anything?
Oh, you mean, yes. And when we breathe with the nose, we have this filter.
Yeah,
So when you have your mouth open and you breathe with your mouth open, you get all the toxin straight in your
yeah,
lungs.
nothing there to.
So I'm giving you something very important now. So when you close your mouth and you do the breathing by the nose, it's going through this big filter, like this filter in the nose is big like a soccer
Like
game
field. Yeah.
field. Yes, is quite big as this. And when we pull the oxygen through the nose, it filters, and then it's gonna give us the oxygen to the cells in much healthier way. And even when you breathe this way, you have like I don't remember in the percentage, but you will have the oxygen to your brain.
Okay.
So yes, you are into this toxin and all this stuff, and we know all about the lungs and the heart and all this with the
Hmm.
breathing. We have with these studies we have uh, MS patient, like Alzheimer patient, cancer, all these
Hmm. Yep.
patient, yes, uh, they feel different when they do the program of Medi-yoga. And we can see also in the result by the statistic that the breathing is letting go of so much
Yeah.
toxin. And the skin is the biggest organ on our
Right.
body. And then you will sweat, but it's not Medi-yoga is very very
Okay.
quiet. You're not gonna lift up your legs or not,
Right.
nothing.
What is it? Is it a? Is it something that you would practice every day? You want to incorporate daily into your life? Is there like?
For me,
Okay.
yes. So today I did a program called Relaxing, and because I had this, yeah, I told you in the before the interview I was not
Yeah.
sleeping well
Hmm.
tonight, so I had to do this program, and I felt it. Yes, because there's also a meditation in the end of every
Okay.
program, and there is different meditations.
What is so? I, I hadn't really heard of meta yoga before. I mean, I was familiar with yoga and meditation, and before I saw your post out there in the group, I wasn't real familiar with it. If somebody wants to learn more about it, what I mean, what's the best course of action there?
Oh, excellent question. Because I know that the school I went to in Norway is called Medi-yoga Norway. They launched in the United States, but I'm not sure
Okay.
where. I'm not sure where about because I'm not owning this
Right.
school. I was just a student, so I don't know. But they could take contact with me or you, Brian, and I can try to help. Um, they can also see my website, but it's in Norwegian. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, good
um,
opportunity to learn another language, I guess. But
but I think if you go to
hmm
Medi-yoga USA, I think maybe it's
yeah, I did
there.
do a search real quick of just Medi Yoga, and I've got
Uh-huh.
us.medi, medi yoga.com, and there's an about and everything you can read on that. So I'd have to do a little bit of reading, but it does look like there's lots of different, of course, YouTube and different avenues that you could read or learn up about it.
Well, yes, or they can come to my. I have a little group in Facebook if they. I have some because the language is no
Hmm.
language because we're just breathing.
Right.
So if I show the exercise on the video, they
They know how to
understand.
do it. Yeah. So the I guess a big question that might be asked is there's you went through a lot. You had a lot of mountains to conquer over the years, and then you discovered this. How would you define the change in your life? Like, what do you see now in your life that wasn't there, let's say, 15 years ago?
Excellent question. I see self love, and it's that's the best um, thing that ever happened because then I can be the whole
Yeah,
me. Then I can be love to you. I can be love to my children and my friends, and I don't care anymore what other people think or say about me.
right.
And for me, just 10 years ago, that was all that mattered. Was like, oh my God, what she will gonna see, what he gonna say, what they gonna say, and how. So for me, this system is so important because then you can live the life maybe you're dreaming
Yeah.
of when you don't have to worry so much about other people, what they think or say about you.
Yeah, and we tend to get that's one of the biggest things I think we as humans in general, no matter where you're at in the world, y- you're taught from a very young age that there's an expectation, there's a bar that's been set really high, and if you don't reach that bar, you're not good enough, or if you don't follow a
Yeah,
certain path, you're not good enough. So a lot of us forget how to love ourselves, and we just
yeah,
we push ourselves to the brink of health issues or mental
yeah.
health or physical health. What I'm
And you know the heart, when you, for example, you have heart, not heart attack, but heart
mhm,
ache, like your, let's say like this, you have a father and you want him to love you and he doesn't show you the love and all this just keep going through the years and years and your heart
mhm,
is going to be so affected because you don't love yourself.
right.
It's not about your daddy or your mommy or it's you.
Hmm.
And this is what makes us sick
Yeah.
because we are longing for all these people to see me, hear me, love me. And if you love me, I can do more. And if you, no,
Yeah,
if we can stop and understand that you are enough for you.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because it's impossible. I'll go out on a limb and say it would be impossible to make everyone love you. You're always going to have somebody that doesn't see you in a positive light, or for whatever it is. Because I know as people are out there trying to
Always.
help people, there's always somebody there to try to knock you back down because they don't want
Oh,
to buy
yes.
into it. Um,
But my mission and vision is totally
yeah,
clear. And this was this never I saw this. I even didn't talk this
yeah,
language before. But everyone who meets me is going to know about opportunity and hope.
yeah.
There are solutions. There are choices you can make that will change your life. And my vision is that we all on this, all people on this planet, oh, can have just a tiny, tiny bit of self-love.
Mhm.
And then they will let go. They will let go of so many worries and unhappiness, and they will find this greatness in small things in life, like, oh, today there was sun outside. I know this sound for many that like, oh no, don't talk this language. Yes, we have to talk this
Yeah,
language, because these small tiny pieces you can see every day, like, oh, today I made this excellent podcast. I'm so happy with myself. So every day you do this exercise and tell yourself, wow, wow, today I was smiling on when I went to the shop and the lady stopped and talked with me. I feel so great today.
yeah,
And when you put all these feelings and experience every day, you can just, I usually say like this: under each stone you will find a piece of
mm,
diamonds. And every people we meet, everyone have something great.
right.
Everyone. I mean it. I really, really mean it.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's one of the hardest things for any of us to get over is understanding what we have to offer in this world. Because uh, for me personally, there's plenty of years of my life that I didn't feel like I had anything to offer, and it wasn't until I finally started making positive changes in my life, the way I was thinking, the way I was reacting, what
Yeah.
I was consuming. Uh, on a
Mm.
day-to-day basis, and I mean it's still a work in progress, right? I mean I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's something that never ends.
Forever, forever.
So what I'm kind of hearing here, and I want to make sure that I'm
Sum it
understanding
up.
right, is so like NLP, it sounds to me like NLP and Medi-yoga kind of go hand in hand in what they offer a person.
Yeah,
um, the neuro-linguistic programming, that is really
yeah,
centered around your self-talk. It sounds like it's what are you waking up grateful? Are you waking up thinking about the
yes.
positive aspects of your life rather than the negative aspects, and learning how to train yourself to find.
But we are also in the NLP. We see things we never seen before. It's a pattern,
Okay,
because we are like
right.
animals. We and the brain is so stupid. Our brain is stupid. So you have to come
Yeah,
on. You have to teach it, because the brain is going to go like the hamster wheel. It's going, oh, I'm going to do the same thing every day.
yeah,
So you have to make it stop. And the NLP learn teach us how to see things in different perspectives.
right.
So, okay, if I do this choice, what will the outcome be? And what if I would choose this one? How can my life change from this?
Hmm.
And we talk a lot about the
Hmm. Yep.
intention behind an action.
Yeah.
You understand
Yep.
what I'm
No, yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of
So,
books and a lot of things, a lot of avenues of learning for NLP out there because that's been around for quite a while
oh
now.
yes,
And
yeah. Richard Bandler been for how many years? I think it's
40.
40,
Yeah.
45. And Tony Robbins, his journey started with
Yeah.
NLP.
Yeah, when I think of the kind of the big names out there in personal development, I know Tony Robbins was the first one I can think of as I think back in history that really um, talked about NLP. I remember it being talked
Yeah.
about, but I hadn't really learned a lot about it, and I've dabbled in it time to time. But um,
And there's a lot of, in the NLP, you will find thousands of
yeah,
techniques, and it's powerful, powerful.
so the NLP will help you kind of get your thoughts and emotion.
Emotion,
Yeah, you
thoughts,
get those kind of centered in where you want to be, and then the meta yoga side of it. Now you're healing your body, you're healing your mind, you're healing your heart,
yes,
healing your lungs.
yeah,
Things like that through the
yeah,
breathing, the relaxation that
yes.
comes with breathing.
Oh,
I
yes.
one thing I hear
Good.
all
Spot on,
all the
Brian.
time. I hear I've had conversations with a lot of people, and I really strongly dislike it when they say, "Well, I don't have time for that." And it's like,
Yeah,
no, you don't have
yeah,
time not to, like you're going to pay now or pay
yeah.
later in time. You're either going to take an hour now and learn to breathe properly, learn to settle your mind, or um, in 5 years from now, when the panic attack set in, the depression sets in, you're going to be
Oh,
off the grid for 6 months, or whatever the case may be.
yeah.
But
It's a great tool for anxiety, both NLP um, and the Medi-yoga, because the breathing is extremely
yeah,
important in anxiety, and uh, and um, and the questions in the NLP, it helps you understand how the brain is working. Like okay, you take an elevator and you're on skiing and you take the ski elevator
mm,
and you're sitting on the elevator and you go, oh my god, what am I doing
yeah,
here? And then the anxiety starts.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah, yeah, I hear you smiling. Then the questions that's smart is like, okay, what do I need now
right,
in this moment? What do I need? You can't jump from the ski elevator,
right,
then you're gonna die for sure. So, what do I need now? I need to calm. How can I calm? Oh my God, I don't know. Yes, you know. So, what more do I need? And then you can ask the question 10 times. What more do I need? You have to answer. I need to look at the trees so I will not make my anxiety go higher level or something. Then you ask again and again and again. And then you will feel you have the wider perspective of the anxiety.
right. The rational brain starts to kick in a little bit, and you
Yes,
realize you're not, even though your brain is trying to perceive something as a threat, it's really not that big of a threat.
yes, because there are no really threats in life. In our life, we are in this life on
Hmm.
Earth. We 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 have very few threats.
Yeah. So, as far as if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, I know you mentioned you had a Facebook page, you have a website, but the
Yeah,
website is not in English.
no way.
And so, is how about the Facebook group? Is that something that people from the U.S. could?
Yeah,
Do you want to?
yeah. I have some already. There are some, and I try to translate some of the
Hmm.
text in English. And so, yeah, great. You're so welcome if you have want to see, and there you can also see some of the the exercise in
Do you
Medio.
know offhand
Mm,
what the name of that page is? So I'll link everything in the
yes,
description as well.
Medi-yoga Hilde.
Medi-yoga Hilda. Okay, and we'll have
Yeah,
this link.
I will send you. I can send you, Brian, and then you can, if anyone asks, you can. They are so
Okay.
welcome, and you as well.
How
Yes,
about email, or is there besides Facebook, is there another way to get a hold of you? Instagram, email.
Facebook. I have an Instagram. It's called Medi-yoga
Okay.
Hilde as well.
All
Yeah,
right. So we got,
but there is mostly pictures. Mostly
yeah.
pictures. I'm not very good at this social media, but my Facebook is quite okay.
All right.
But I'm trying now to find out if I can make a course
Yeah.
on Kayabi. Kayabi? Have you heard about the platform Kayabi?
No, I
Kayabi?
haven't. I'll have to look at that one. I've heard of
No.
Udemy and some of those other ones, but
Yeah, probably it's different in the United
yeah.
States. So I'm not so technical. So I'm trying now to I'm thinking about, oh, maybe I should offer a course in English.
Right.
So they can just push a
Yep.
button and then we get the programs is because we have start package one,
Hmm.
2, and 3, and this takes 5 weeks with each package.
Okay.
So when you keep on doing it, you will just be calmer, healthier, and feel great,
Right.
and then you will just, oh, I'm gonna conquer this
Oh
world.
yeah. And that's such a good feeling when you finally get to that space in your life where you're ready to, instead of being the at least for me, the way I describe it is, instead of being the coward, I now become the conqueror. I'm no longer
Whoa,
afraid. I if
yes,
and I live by this motto. If it scares me, I'm going to do it. And
perfect.
so I've and
And now you and now you can do it with the
yeah, I learned the
breathing.
breathing because I, I know I do carry a lot of anxiety, even though it's not as outward as it used to be, and it doesn't impact my life in the negative
No,
fashion. I still can feel the tension in my
of
muscles. So,
course.
I
And we are now in the world of the
yeah,
pandemic,
and everybody's
and
stuck at
yeah,
home, and yeah, there's so
and I even got the COVID
oh
19.
man, so just
Yeah.
another thing to add to that list of things to overcome. But
Oh,
you've overcome a lot. You've really come a long
we all
way.
we all have stories,
Yeah,
Brian, and we all have overcome so
yeah.
much. But in the moment you're sharing your story, that's when
Yeah.
you're growing and you're helping people to grow.
Yeah, I agree. Helping giving back is so rewarding. It's just doing something for the sake of doing it to help others. That has a healing aspect of in its own self
And
too.
you bringing me on your
Yeah.
show, that's so caring. I need to just say thank you so
Yeah.
much. I feel honored and blessed, and I know you're a giver.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show for sure because it was just kind of a random thing where I saw your post and I reached out and we were able to make this happen. So, and I'm thankful for it because it's, I know of I don't know all my listeners. I don't get to meet them all face to face or hear their stories, but I'm sure there's somebody, at least somebody out there that's going through a heck of a time and
Oh,
learning how to breathe, and this is kind of their introduction into that world. I think they're whoever that is, that the world's about to change as soon as they uh, grab a hold of this and make this a part of their day. So
oh, thank you from my
yeah.
heart, Brian, to your heart. Because of you are thinking about other humans that could take their shoulders down
Hmm.
and just know I am enough. I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, great words. All right. Well, we're kind of approaching time here, so
Yeah,
I do want to say thank you again for coming on the show. I will you'll send me the links. I'll make sure I incorporate them, and if anybody wants to reach out to you to learn more about Meta Yoga, we'll make sure they have the avenues to do that. And
thank you
if
so
you do get
much.
that when you do get that course established, let me know because I'd like to have you back on the show and we can talk about it and
Oh, I
introduce.
will. I will do it. I am. Maybe you can help me,
Maybe,
Brian.
yeah, that could be. I'm a little technical here and there, but
Okay.
all right.
Bless you so much and have a wonderful
Thanks,
evening.
you too. And there you have it, my conversation with Hilda Olsen. She was a great guest. And, how often do you stop to think about how you're breathing? Are you breathing through the nose? The nose is a filtration system, right? Are you breathing through your mouth? Are you bringing in the toxins, the dirt, the pollution, who knows what? And just the thought of, take toxins, take pollution out of the mix and just think about the breath and how the breath can help control the mind and the body. I've been a big advocate of meditation for a long time now. And, I can certainly tell you that when I sit in a quiet space with no distractions and I meditate and I'm breathing through the nose and out through the mouth, shoulders drop, muscles relax. 5, 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes. And then the rest of the time, as you're walking around, think about that. Make sure you're breathing through your nose. Give yourself, fill those lungs and breathe out those toxins. So, well, that's going to wrap this episode up. Thank you so much for listening. And stay tuned because I've got another great guest lined up. You're not going to want. Make sure you follow this podcast. Make sure you subscribe. I've got several guests lining up and they all bring a different piece of the puzzle to the table. You're not going to want to miss future episodes. So until next time, make sure you aim high, be courageous, and go do amazing things.